Okay, welcome back to Rock Hard Caucus. I believe this is episode 93. Have you been keeping track, Stella? What number are we on?
Oh, no, not at all. Never.
All right, well, I'm Justin, and I'm here with Stella. We've got something special lined up for tonight. I know that people who listen to our program are interested in labor rights, the labor movement, workers, and their relationship with their bosses, stuff like that. And tonight we're joined by a member of the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers Union, Local 100G, who are on strike. Ingredion workers are on strike in Cedar Rapids right now. And to talk to us about it tonight, we've got Chris Eby. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Justin and Stella. I appreciate giving the opportunity to talk to you.
Did I get everything right there? It's Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Worker, Grain Miller, right?
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but you got it exactly right.
So I wanted to ask you, I guess, why are you on strike? You've been on strike for about a month now, and what's going on?
Well, our contract expired at 7 a.m. on August 1st this year. And so our members rejected a contract, the company's offer, which they say to this day out in public, they offered a really good one. But I've been there 31 years. I've never seen a contract get rejected by 100%. Not a single person voted to accept the contract. Now, that should tell the company something. But let's get down right to it, the striking issues, so people know. And one of them, of course, is wages. And the company here, this is a unique year with inflation and everything else, prices going up. Mm-hmm. And the company's telling us or telling the public, they're giving you 3.5% to 7% wages. Well, that's not true. Actually, they're valuing our current jobs at $4 under what we make now. And so these 3.5% payouts or wage increases, they're actually payouts, one-time payouts, and you'll sit at your current wage until either the end of the contract, which they're proposing 4 years, or until their wage scale makes it above it. Now, at the end of 4 years, there's going to be several employees that actually their wage for what they do now, the same exact job, will be worth less.
Wow. Right. Yeah.
So this is just absolutely false. We're going to have 9 employees that are going to instantly drop, I believe, $3, just the way their structure is. And they say that that's the market value. That's not the market value. It doesn't match any of the companies that are around. It doesn't match even their own plants, like in Kansas City, what they value. They said they use Indeed.com. I guess I've never used it, but if that's what they're using, I don't know I'm going to use it ever. So Indeed.com
is telling them to pay you less? Is that how?
No, I guess that's what they're saying. I don't know what jobs they're looking at, They put this broad thing in there where, probably type in manufacturing. Wasn't it a decade ago or something? And they were trying to include fast food and manufacturing, So wages is, a big issue to us, but it goes beyond that. Health insurance company wants to put us on their health insurance. They claim it's better, and they just here released a press statement that to offset both the premium and deductible increases, that they have included items in there that the employees take advantage of, that it could offset that. Now, their items they're talking about is so much for smoking cessation. Mm-hmm. Now, how many employees are going to be able to take advantage of it? I'll tell you right now, I smoke. So if everybody wants to take the $300, send it my way. That's a lot of gum I can chew, But they have a gym membership offer, that you can take. And there's nothing wrong with it. $180 is not going to cover a year's worth of membership. Yeah. So our insurance right now, we're in our own little pool there's 120 members. Mm-hmm. And I guess our rating's good enough that our premiums are lower than anywhere, both for us and the company, in corporate wide. And we feel it's better insurance. So if it's better insurance and it's cheaper for them, why change it? So that's another big issue, insurance. But it goes beyond that. I mean, it goes to time off. They want to rob us of some of our vacation. They basically now they're introducing. We work 7 days, have a day off, work 7, have 2 off, work 7, have 4, and go back around.
Okay.
But we always have our guaranteed days off. And now they want to introduce language where they can say, "Hey, Chris, I need you to work your day off." Well, how are we supposed to plan anything? How are we supposed to, have any time off, relax, or anything else? You just can't do it. So, those are some of the items we're striking on. But, it goes seniority. I'm there 31 years. When you bid jobs in the plant, it goes by seniority. And what they're trying to say now is they can pick the individuals for certain jobs. The company, it don't matter what you have for seniority. Voice, and I have to use this word because they keep putting it in their discipline as it relates to, even though it says steal and everything else for discipline, they want to use this word, and it's called pilfer. And all I can think of it, I kid you not. And I cannot, I just think I'm like something of a pirate or something. But
yeah.
So,
Robin Hood.
Just, yeah, right. So just to, for out there, a shout out for Ingredion, wants to use that word. So I'm just going to tell you right now, they're wanting to pilfer the union's right to have a true say in decisions that affect our employees.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to forgive me. I write, some of the notes down, but those are there's a lot more, to it. They want to come in and they want to rewrite our entire contract. I've done a lot of the different offices in this union for over 13 years. And a typical contract, you expect some hard issues, a couple on each side, and some give and take. This is a entire rewrite of a contract. Mm-hmm. And our members just saying no.
I think I already mentioned you've been on strike for about a month, but I don't think I mentioned that, Chris, you are on the bargaining committee, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So you've been seeing the back and forth on this, or has there been a back and forth? It seems like they haven't been negotiating very much with you.
Well, I guess you're talking about back and forth. If we're trying to resolve some issues and you're just getting surface bargaining on the other side. We've met a little over maybe 20 days, and we're just not getting anywhere because the company doesn't want to move any of the big issues. They think they can have it all, not one or two. They think they can have it all. We're sitting on a standstill waiting for them to call us back. A couple weeks ago we had bargaining scheduled for 3 days because they said that they were ready to move. It was clear that first day when we got in there, they had no intention. And we said, give us a call back when you're actually ready to bargain. And we haven't heard a word from them. I think they're in there telling their employees that they're trying to get a hold of us, but I don't think it's hard to find us. Just walk out the front door. We're right there.
Yeah. I think Stella and I have both driven past and honked at you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a great thing.
So is the building still operational? Like, are they still producing? Are there non-union employees working, or any scabs that are working in there today?
Well, I was going to use the polite word and call them replacement workers, but I'll go with scabs.
We're not Iowa's meanest podcast for nothing.
All right, now I'm starting to like you guys. So, anyways, what we do there prior to this strike is we process corn. All right, and then out of our corn, we'll produce starches for the paper and textile industry. We produce glues and paste for like corrugated cardboard. and a lot of animal with our byproducts, animal feeds. So, I mean, that's what we produce. Right now, they have a lot of their management in there working 12-hour days, but they brought up bus loads, of replacement workers. And I think the only thing they're making right now is truckload after truckload of stuff that's going out and being dumped at the waste plant. You can actually see it. We got lots of videotape, and it's truckload after truckload. They're bringing in suction trucks, sucking up stuff. They follow them out to the waste plant, and watch them dump it.
Oh my gosh!
I think they've counted. This was day 25 or something, but they counted the amount of rail cars going out, and it had been like 10 for 25 days. We put out, more than that a day, and my understanding is they're sucking that stuff off a lot of their cars out there too. So are they producing? Well, just like at the table, you look at the stacks and they're blowing a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
So, well, it sounds like they're just trying to make the appearance like the business is still functional while you guys are striking, right?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't the first strike for me. 2004, we were out for 78 days on strike.
Oh, wow.
And as bad as that contract was, this is the worst one I've ever seen. And back in 2004, they said that they were at full production. The president came across the street, told the press that. Mm-hmm. And it took us over 7 years to bring back all their product that they paid to store in a warehouse to reprocess it for them.
I wanted to ask you something about the health insurance thing. So yeah, you said that your current insurance is better for you guys and cheaper for everyone involved. And to switch over to what Ingredion is proposing would be worse coverage for you and also more expensive for you and for them.
Right, because we pay a 20% copay on the premium, right? Mm-hmm. And you're talking, $500 or something, a year or whatever, but it's mm-hmm. still more expensive. And of course, that's our share. That's 20%, and so it just shows you it's more expensive, but the deductibles are higher. That's the fact. They just want to what they call, do it corporate wide, but we're not all cookie cutter, and right. They know that, and if they want a corporate wide, bring them our insurance.
It sounds like it'd be better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I read in, there was an article, I think, that KCRG just published where they were speaking with a Ingredion representative who said, well, most of those costs are really just going to be affecting the families that are on the insurance, as if that's better. Like, oh, it's just going to affect people with families and dependents. Like,
I know, right? Yeah. Forget the kids. That don't matter,
Jeez.
And you also mentioned when we were talking about wages, something about a payout versus a wage increase. So is this sort of like a bonus? Like they give you a lump sum one time?
Yeah, it's a lump sum payment, but you're right. The way they pay it and the way taxes work, it'll probably be paid as a bonus, which means, it's taxed at twice the rate. But absolutely correct. It's a lump sum, and it's based on like your wage for the year, but it's your straight wages. It's not any overtime or anything like that they're going to take it off of.
Okay, and that's in lieu of giving you a wage increase at all. You would stay at the same rate.
You would stay at the same rate until, depending on the job titles or positions, got above it, right? And then you would make that rate. So there'll be a year on some of the grades that maybe they get 7 cents higher later on, like 3 years or whatever. So you get 7 cents an hour, which would be less than the 3.5. Mm-hmm. And then remember, these are lump sums, but the lump sums go away at the end of the contract. Then you're stuck with the wage scale they have, which some of the jobs are lower. And yet Ingredion will send out a message to the media and say, well, they have an opportunity, these employees, to step up, better themselves in skills. because all they're doing is they're the same manufacturing jobs. Right now, we're just flat job rate across for all jobs. So then they're going to put, some different pay grades in, which is what we had prior to Ingredion coming in. And so they're talking about a certain limited amount of jobs that we're already doing now, but you can have skills, you can improve your skills.
It sounds like you don't quite buy that.
Well, that kind of thing always, like, who does that benefit? Like, that benefits the company. Like, the skills that you're building are there at your job. Like, it's not like they're doing this because they're benevolent and they, like, are looking out for, like, they care about your education in this one field. Like, they benefit from you doing that extra work and taking on extra responsibility. So the fact that they're like framing it like this is your opportunity, that is so slimy.
That's what it is. It's like, well, you're not getting a raise this year, but you're getting a plaque on the door type of scenario.
Yeah.
And you don't value that very highly?
Tell you what, I'd rather them not even know my name at this point. I'm just a number, a clock number. But and that goes to Stella. You made a good point that brings up where they're talking about the 7.5% wage increase for some employees. Well, Ingredion came in 2015. They took over for Penford Products, and they created a mess because they created what's called a 2-tier wage schedule, which means employees hired after, a certain year, like 2015, would make approximately 84% of the wages what the current employees make. Now, we tried to tell them, because during then I was actually at the negotiation table, and I tried to tell them, you're going to have a problem with that. People are going to come here and they might get some job experience, but they're going to leave because most of these plants around here don't have it. Well, now it's actually in their proposal to get rid of those wage tiers over 4 years, because believe it or not, it came to fruition. They can't, they can't keep employees here because they're paying less and they can't get a higher wage. So that's where this higher wage comes in, and your viewers or your listeners need to know that's where the 7.5% is, but it benefits them. There's no doubt it'll benefit the members of us that are down there, but you're talking about 22 members right now, and they want to do it over 4 years instead of just now. And you're talking 22 members, and 9 of them, because they couldn't get people to fill specific jobs. We had to make an agreement with them that these 9 people to fill those jobs would get the higher wage increase during this contract. Well, that's expired. Okay. And so they want to take those 9 people down to the lower scale and then let them stair step back up.
Well, they would just leave, right?
Well, I don't know what they do. I'm guessing, as the strike goes along, they're complaining they're having a hard time hiring people. Well, I think they're going to have to hire more, because I know that the companies around here are having the same issue. If you look nationally, these companies are having a hard time finding employees.
Yep.
And they're going to get experienced employees. You're going to have a lot of them leave, especially the ones. Most of them don't have pensions here anymore. They don't have the vacation that I have, the things like that. A lot of them are probably going to be asking themselves, why should I stay here?
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that they might be able to, like, basically tell you as well when you had planned to have a day off, working 7 days straight. That can be exhausting. So can you tell us a little bit more? So when that happens, if they told you that you had a planned day off, and now you need to come in, they're not going to pay you extra for that. Are they going to pay you overtime or anything like that? Or is that just, you'd have to do it?
You'd have to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And of course, if you don't show up, you're going to be on the points system or discipline. Now, would you get paid extra? Sure, it depends on how it plays out, because we have time and a half after so many hours. Okay, so but you take a day off or something during the week, then maybe it changes that. Now, after this podcast with you, the company's going to come out and they're going to say, well, he's forgetting to say that they offered alternative schedules, So they are wanting to insert these 12-hour shifts, kind of like, maybe you work 2, have 2 off, work 3 type of thing, because they're trying, you work the same amount of hours, but they're trying to tell you have more days off. But the thing with that is I've never seen, and I've been in, this industry for a long time, a 12-hour type of schedule where people didn't work more than what they work now. And if you think about it, the only way, instead of 4 hours overtime, that's how they fill jobs now. So if you have somebody off on a shift, they'll have the prior shift stay over 4 hours, bring somebody in 4 hours. So you work 12 hours, it's covered, guy's still got his day off. Well, here, they're not going to be able to do it if people work 12-hour shifts. So what are people going to have to do? They're going to have to work their day off. And they want to take, to offset things, take certain pay structures and things. But you're not going to get the days off you plan.
Yeah, the battle here I see is like, do you get to have your own life, or are you do you belong to the company, basically? Like, how much of your life is your own?
Well, that's just it. What's the saying about being forced to shop at the company store, because that's what it's going to be anymore. Other than what they're giving you in the contract, which at this point in time is very little, everything's based on their decision. And no, they want to cross train you on more jobs. So right now I know one job. Okay, the job I picked, I've been there 31 years. They want me to cross train on up to 3 more jobs. Now, why do they want to do that? Because they can't cover people for the days off and the amount that they come. They've got places in Ingredion corporate wide that do it. So they know what's going to happen. So they're going to have, they want me to know more jobs so I can work more days off.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're struggling to hire people to do those jobs.
And anytime a company gets people to know more jobs and can make them work their days off, what do you think happens to the staffing levels?
Definitely decreases, right?
It decreases, because why would you keep the staffing level if I can make you work your days, make other people work their days off?
Yeah, it's cheaper to, have fewer people working longer and doing more work.
Well, they gave us for our memberships, there's this to vote, contract vote. I mean, the sheet of paper with all the different changes on it. However, I would tell you, when we're sitting at the table the last day before we're getting ready for the contract vote, they brought out just something that was a single page highlighted things. And we said, what's this? We can't present it to our members. Well, anything. They said, they actually had the nerve to say anything else would be too complicated. Too complicated for our members, right? So, no, we said, no, you print it all out for us.
Yeah.
Too complicated. That's how they feel about their employees.
Yep.
Right now. I tell you, we read the whole thing to our members. We had to stave off everybody standing up, and they wanted to vote when we're just a page or two into it. They wanted to turn it down. So we had to make sure it all get read so everybody knew what was in there. There was, a lot of let's vote now.
Yeah.
Wow,
How has morale been on the picket line? How are people feeling 30 days out?
It's great. It's strong out there, When I pass by them, there's smiles on their faces as it relates to, talking to them. We're so segregated, in our own areas now that, all these new guys, I barely knew any of them. Now I know almost all of them.
That's cool.
People that ain't talked in years get to talk almost every day. So it's actually, it's making us stronger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's worries at home as each day mounts, right? Because we're not getting paychecks, but it's not changed the resolve. If anything, it's hardened the resolve. They're in for the long haul here. 2004 was 78 days.
Yeah. Wow.
This company could have learned from the history of what it is for both Iowa, Cedar Rapids, and I'll add their BCTGM 100G, how we feel about being disrespected.
Yeah.
Well, being without your regular paycheck for a month now, it's got to be difficult. Have you seen a lot of community support, people chipping into, I know there's a GoFundMe. Have you seen a lot of people helping out with that?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's been great. All right. As more and more, like just talking to you guys and the message gets out, the community's just really been rallying around us, whether it's, coming down and honking as you've done when you've gone by and or picketing with us, the BCTGM 100G GoFundMe, drop off checks down at the line or out, send it to the Hawk Area Labor Council. There's so much food and water and things like that. I mean, it's just been wonderful, and we have so much labor support, community support, political support. And we have a great restaurant that's across the street from the plant, and they've just been so wonderful. They allow members go in, cool down from the heat, use the restroom. We use their parking lot behind there to stage like our trailer and supplies and things like that. So we couldn't ask for more.
That's great. Yeah.
All the assistance we can get, the better. I mean, we just need the community and those out there that can to just, if they can help a little, it'd be wonderful.
There was one more thing I wanted to ask you about. So your union was nationally, they were involved in the strikes last year at Frito-Lay, Nabisco, and Kellogg's, I think were the big ones. I guess how much have those strikes influenced your local to reject this contract? Like, has that influenced like the willingness to reject Ingredion's contract, or was it just so bad that it would have happened regardless?
Well, I think, when you're talking about those strikes in general, they reflect just a natural feeling right now out there nationally that workers are just tired of it. They're tired of doing more and more and not getting respected for it, not getting rewarded for it. So many millions of workers out there, including us, during COVID, were labeled essential workers, needed to come in. But as far as like Kellogg's and all them, that had no influence on our members. It was this contract.
Yeah.
What's it? All politics, affect home, right? And so, no, I think people were voting for their families, for their members that they work with and for the future ones that come after us.
Yeah, and especially when these companies are posting like record profits, for them to come to you with a contract that is disrespectful, to tell you that you wouldn't understand it. I mean, that is just outrageous. So, well,
I did have to think. I did have to think for a little while what pilfering was. I did. But no, I mean it is, and as far as profitability goes, I mean they filed here in February an SEC report, expecting 7 to 9% growth in revenue. All right, earnings per share to be greater than $7. Now, the amount of shares they have out there is 66 million shares, and in their last filing, they're actually beating their expectation on earnings per share.
Wow.
Mhm.
Right?
So they have it to give. They just don't want to compensate you.
It's not
They
for
don't
the
want you to be cut
workers.
in on the the increases there.
Right. Well, and the funniest thing is, it is, as every government report you have to do, or yearly filing, you got to add in risks that may affect your ability to earn.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, so I just read it right here. One of the risk factors to reaching that profitability is their profitability could be negatively impacted if they fail to maintain satisfactory labor relations.
Well, check that one off.
There's an eyebrow raiser, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly losing money right now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully they find it in their best interest to make some better deals with you guys and get back to producing.
Well, it is, and it's even greater than that, because right now you have, again, replacement workers, scabs, and they're inexperienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're paying them more than what they're paying us to go in there. And, we found the agency that is hiring them, of course. And not only are they paying them higher, they're paying for their hotels, their transportation, daily stipend. But one of the requirements is they had to be able to listen and communicate. So, pretty complicated. And the thing with that, though, is there is safety concerns and environmental concerns. In 1919, this plant, or the location of it was called Douglas Starch Works. Later became Penford and then Ingredion. They had a small fire, cornstarch fire, and it exploded. Yeah. All right, it killed 43 workers, according to Cedar Rapids Gazette, injured 30 others. Now, across the river, poor little kid sitting on his couch got thrown from it and killed. All right. They felt that the impact of that explosion for miles. Now, today's age, with chemicals the way they are, some of the chemicals we have in there, the destructive damage that can be done is much greater than what it was in 1919. Wow. Now, with experienced workers and knowing how to take care of things, the risks are minimal. But if they can't make good product right now, which is evident by dumping stuff to the sewer, we've seen ambulances more often than what we should going in there.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think's going on there? I just worry about that. I worry about whether we'll even have jobs to go back to when it's done. We could get a contract, but will we have a plant left?
Wow. Yeah. I hadn't even thought about the dangers of your job. Obviously, all kinds of factory jobs and stuff have risks. Does that really factor into the negotiations? Like, shouldn't you be compensated more highly because of the potential risks involved?
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's that goes to the whole contract structure with the pay, being able to have your days off to recuperate. Actually, the union having a say in what policies, how it affects the employees. Those all things affect in the safety.
Yeah.
And so it makes a big difference. Now, I do not know how you can say they're paying us for that when they're actually valuing us, the starting value, up to $4 less than what we make now. That's certainly not paying for it. I don't know what else to say to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stella, I know Chris keeps using this big word. I just wanted to make sure you were kept up on what this is. Pilfer means steal, and then in parentheses it says typically things of relatively little value. So it's stealing, but
Okay,
not
thank you
not
for
a lot of stealing.
explaining that for my woman brain to comprehend. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like I should get a pen and paper and write it down.
Well, since it keeps coming
man.
up, has there been a lot of pilfering? What are they worried about there being pilfered from Ingredion?
To be honest with you, I have no clue. In the contract just expired. We have plant rules, and disciplinary procedures, and together they're tiny book about this big, and they're 3 pages, right? And of course, the disciplines say it's not an all-inclusive list. However, the company's proposal makes no sense. I think the first time it came out, it was 7 letter-sized pages, and we'd look through it. And to be honest with you, you get tired looking through it because Rule 1, or say Rule 3, 19, and 25 were the exact same thing, And we tell them that, and they say they come back. Well, fantastic. What about when Rule 11 and Rule 17 are the same? And it just goes like that. And so, we wrote a counter proposal for them, okay? And we gave it to them, and we figured it covered everything. We didn't use the word pilfering because, to be honest with you, in our current contract, the word steal was already in it, And so we gave it to them. And we think that covered everything they wanted. Mm-hmm. They came back with us. Human resource manager was very proud of himself because he specifically told us that he kept it to 4 pages. Now what he did was he took all those rules, that he had that we had removed because they were already in there, and he just added them along to the lines of the other rules.
Oh my
and
God.
However, to fit it on 4 pages, he took your regular margins of the pages and moved them out to the very end and told us it was 4 pages.
Yeah. What's the word count, buddy?
Yeah.
There you go. Of course, this is coming from the same guy that has told us more than once when he's talking about one of their proposals. Well, I'm not sure if it's in your guys' contract. Now, he's been there 3.5 years. Isn't that his job?
Yeah.
Right.
It baffles me. But he said that he has had a hard time understanding our contract. So maybe that's where it comes from, and he just wanted to make it simpler for everybody else.
Yeah. Well, if it's too complicated for him, it has to be too complicated for you guys.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. You know that. You go out to anywhere, and it's usually the workers are the ones that make the place work.
Well, yeah, you do the job. You know how it works. You can read a few words about it, I'm sure.
Well, while we're on that, it'd probably lead into talking about a little bit of an FYI to you that last year, 2021, Ingredion got awarded for the 8th year in a row one of the most ethical companies. Okay?
I did see something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
Let me. Let's ponder that for a minute. Okay. 2015 was the first negotiations Ingredion had with BCTGM 100G. Okay. They weren't there to bargain. They were there to rewrite the whole contract. Mm-hmm. So I filed labor charges back in 2015 with them. Now, they were found guilty of violating multiple acts of the National Labor Relations Law. So Ingredion, like any company I suppose would do, exercised all their appeal options. Mm-hmm. So it was just last year, 2021, and they stood out in that parking lot because of COVID, and they had to get up there and say, we violated the law. We won't do it again. They had to do this. They had to post that everywhere in the plant. we violated the law. We won't do it again. Then there was $600,000 in back pay settlement that they had to do. Okay. Now it's 2022, 1 year removed from that. Here we are again. You know, the unions had to file multiple labor charges again, right? And they're lying to their employees. They're lying to the public. You know, I just showed you, or gave examples in the statistics when they try to say they're giving wage increases, right? It's kind of like, I don't know. It made me think of Mark Twain's quote that he popularized. And there's three kinds of lies: damned lies, and statistics. And the thing with that is, the verdict's in, and Ingredion's guilty all three. I don't know. I really question, is that ethics? But, when you have money, you can buy everything. I guess you can buy ethics.
Yeah. Well, you have to ask, who's making these decisions about who gets the most ethical company award and what's their competition. So maybe everyone else is just worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just one of those, organizations that, they're paid memberships, but
they're buying it.
I mean, you could look it up.
Maybe it was down to Ingredion and the puppy kicking factory. Which company is more ethical? I guess we got to give it to Ingredion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know now. I'd go with the puppies at this point in time.
Well, Stella's got a soft spot for dogs, so.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just so you know, I'm not condoning puppy kick, so.
We thought we got you on that one.
No, I'm going to put that in there right now,
Yep.
Hopefully this don't become a political ad and that part's cut out, how you see those.
Yeah. Well, I won't be cutting it, but I can't make any guarantees about, the Ingredion audio editors.
Oh, that's all right. I think they know my statements, Ingredion. I'd be happy to give them to them anytime.
Nice, yeah. And if it's that human resources guy, I think he'll get much too overwhelmed. I don't think he could do it, so.
Well, it's not that hard to figure it out, what we want. We want a contract that allows us to feed and shelter our families. We want a contract that allows us to contribute to the economics of the community. And most of all, we want a contract that recognizes and values their employees and the work that we do. I think it's pretty simple, but what can I say? We've been pilfered from it.
That all costs money, Chris. It's got to come from somewhere.
So how can folks, you mentioned, the GoFundMe and honking their horns. How else would you recommend folks can continue to support you going forward?
Well, like I said, there's multiple ways, whether it's, bringing supplies down, that we can distribute to families, whether it's food, personal care items, sending things to Hawkeye Labor Council, it'll get to us, even support letters, to us. And one of the things that, that I expect out of the two of you is, when we get off the podcast here, you look up the Ingredion website, send their CEO who just got, a couple $1 million bonus, just send him an email to get over here and negotiate,
You got it. Yeah.
I can do that. I love sending emails.
Hey, and if you need more, anybody wants to get a hold of the Hawkeye Labor Council or get a hold of us or come down, be free to hand out some emails of a few, corporate bigwigs for you.
Nice.
I think that's a great idea for our listeners because they all love harassing people on the internet. So,
that's today's day and age, and I do want to give a shout out, to our fellow brothers, out in California, Corn Nuts. They went on strike. They're experiencing a very similar thing that we went through in 2015. So more and more are going on strike, but they're pretty localized on the reasons for it.
Yeah, solidarity with the Corn Nuts. I will include the GoFundMe link, any other links I find. I've got like a list here that somebody with your local made of like 4 things you can do to help the strikers. I'll include that link with the episode here. Before we go, Chris, do you think anyone at Ingredion will be listening to this?
I think that's yeah. We know that. We've been told already by them. They're monitoring social media. I mean, come on, they're right now they're taking pictures of us every day. They're driving down the streets and taking pictures of our vehicles' license plates.
Oh my gosh!
So if you don't think that they won't, get a hold of this, well, then I guess you're not doing your job at that point in time, right? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
I think Stella will get it there. She'll deliver them a copy right to their hand.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe bring them a USB drive, Stella, right?
Hey, careful with that. We were told, that they weren't sure they could send us all because that Mark Krinkle, the human resource manager, could only send up to like 3 files a day.
We're going to clog up the works with our big audio files.
Oh my gosh.
It's just truly amazing, right? In this day and age. And, if they want to negotiate what they want now, we have some tentative agreements. I tell you what, FYI, Ingredion, let's go with the tentative agreements that we have. Keep the rest of the contract the same because maybe neither one liked it, but we lived with it. Let's just get on to talking about wages and move on, get this settled, get people back to work and actually make something there at that plant. I mean, it'd be simple as that, right? But they think they can have it all. And negotiations is not a one side takes everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, to any Ingredion execs or any of their like anti-labor lawyers that they have, I guess the message to you now is it sounds like the ball's in your court. So, maybe just negotiate a little bit and things will be okay in a few weeks, right?
Do the right thing. Live up to your most ethical company title.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Understand Iowa, understand Cedar Rapids,
Mm-hmm.
Their corporation, Westchester, Illinois, they have a lot of these plants in these bigger cities, and even there they have a hard time sometimes filling jobs. Well, how many millions of people Chicago got?
Yeah.
Right. And then how many people the Cedar Rapids have and they can't fill it. So you want to go down on wages and you're already having trouble. It just don't make sense.
Just making more trouble.
Things are complicated.
Stretching your employees too thin. Yeah. It
is. It's a shame.
Well, Chris, thank you for giving us some context here, showing us what's going on with the strike. I'm sure people listening to this will be eager to support you, so I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this for a little bit.
Oh yeah, and thank you too so much, and I just got to say, you guys, your podcast just got a great, awesome, awesome name. I love it,
Thank you.
Rock hard, and I will tell you, all my committee members there, we got Ray Tabor, Mike Moore, this president, and Ryan Hookey. They've done a wonderful job. Our members done a wonderful job, but I couldn't get a single person to come on to Iowa's Meanest podcast with me.
You're the bravest.
You're scared of us. Yeah, we honor your courage, Chris.
Thank you so much.
All right, and with that, I guess we'll sign off. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right.